Welcome to another episode of Truth Bumps. Today we are, as usual, picking up where we left off last week. Although we are changing gears somewhat today. Today's topic is all about the now, the present moment. So I've titled this The Now, but I am going to distinguish the difference between the moment in time or the present moment in time versus the now. But let's just start with some simple things, listening to this right now. Obviously, any of my truth bumps, I strongly recommend actually, especially when you're listening to it for the first time, to be completely present with the call. So don't listen to it driving in a car, don't listen to it walking. If you can sit down and actually be present to it. And that's why I've actually made a video of these as well. So you can actually watch the video or you can just listen to the audio. But the best thing that you can do when you're listening to these truth bumps is be present with it. Now, as I'm sharing this with you, I am in my moment. I am in the now. And when you listen to this, you're experiencing it in your now, in the now. So the what I'm trying to point out here is that the moment now, the present time is all there is. We can only experience something in the now. When we're not experiencing something in the now, we're experiencing it in our imagination. We're experiencing it in our own mind. So you might be going to a memory, revisiting a memory, and you're going, oh, well, I'm experiencing something that is in the past. You might go into your imagination and imagine something for the future. But the experience of life unfolds in the now. The now is all there is. And, whether, we can say we have 24 hours in a day and, everyone experiences those 24 hours differently. But whether it's, 1 a.m. for you or 5 p.m. for you or it's winter for you. I mean, right now, if I'm sharing this message right now, it doesn't matter even if this was live and we were sharing this moment right now together live, it doesn't matter if you're listening to me. And, obviously I run a lot of coaching calls online and I have clients coming and joining the calls, and some of them are 8 at night and some of them are 6 in the morning, and some of them are in winter, some of them are in summer. And so on. So it doesn't matter what season it is. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Some of them are still in yesterday. Some of them are in tomorrow. When we're sharing a moment, there's only now. Someone could go, oh, no, it's 8 o'clock at night. And someone will go, no, it's, 4 in the afternoon. It's the same moment. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. It doesn't matter what season you're in. It's the same moment, the same now. So, I think that's quite profound. This is something that you need to digest for yourself and contemplate. I remember the first time hearing that, it was difficult to digest. There is only now. You can only experience the now. There is nothing else. You can't experience the past because the past happened in the now, and you can't experience the future because the future will happen in the now. And most importantly, who we become and how we show up and what we create in the future, it only happens in depending on how we experience now. So, it's, that the idea of that now is all there is a very profound one, but I think it takes some pondering and contemplating and just digesting that a little bit. So let me give you some things to digest. How about that? So for me, the idea of, I see it in two different views. I see that we have the now, and we also have the present moment. And when I say the present moment, I'm referring to what's happening for you in the story. So in the story, when you're doing something, you can become present with that. But what you're experiencing is you're experiencing yourself being present in time. Okay, so flow state is usually you're doing something, and when you're doing something, it's you begin to notice everything kind of interweaves and becomes seamless. Time becomes a little bit somewhat irrelevant, and you're completely present to what you're doing and the space and the environment that you're in. And even the space and environment kind of mends as one, and it's a profound experience, because I know personally when I'm experiencing myself in a flow state, and of course, one of the ways I experience flow state, of course, flying an airplane, that's one. But really the biggest profound experience for me, besides exercising and all that, is when I get up on stage, when I'm sharing this work, it allows me to be in a flow state. So suddenly what's happening tomorrow becomes irrelevant. What happened yesterday becomes irrelevant. And all your attention and energy is invested in what's happening right now. And it somewhat feels like, sometimes it feels like when I'm in that flow state that it's not, I was going to say it's not me, right? It's not me, but it's not only me. It feels like I as the character, as Amir, as the identity, and I as the infinite version of who Amir is, begin to dance. Like there's a participation that takes place between I as the identity and I as the infinite. So we've got two I's there, I as the identity and I as the infinite. And it just like there's a dance that takes place. There's a participation that takes place, and things come through, and things become clear, and things that I don't normally see, I see. Things that how I dance or how I share. And I'm using dance as an analogy here. I'm not talking about me dancing here, but it all kind of blends in, and that's why I say it feels like I as the identity, as I as the infinite, are participating in a dance together. So again, that flow state that we refer to, and potentially I can do another truth bump just on flow state, but I'm just using that at this point as a reference point. That flow state is you being present in time. So it's still time. It's not timeless. You're in time, but you are present in time. So in other words, your energy and your attention is invested in this moment in time, this moment right now. So that's the way I like to analyze it. That's the way I like to share it and express it in this truth bump. But there is something that is far more profound. I mean, that's profound by itself. But there is, I find, moments that is, like it's. Can I put it this way? If I can refer to you as the identity and I as the infinite. And again, I as the infinite, it's the infinite version of you, right? When you are in flow state, you're participating in the story, and you invite I as the infinite to come and dance, to participate in the story. That's what's happening there. That's what I call you are present in time, right? And it's still magical. It's still like miracles happen, and like it's still very joyful and amazing, right? But what you're experiencing is it's you're doing something, and then suddenly your energy becomes invested to only what you're doing in that moment in time, and suddenly that seamless flow state where everything starts to become effortless takes place. It's you've invited you as the infinite version to come and dance. Now, when I'm describing the now, it is different. The now is when you as the infinite invited you as the identity to join it, if you like, if I can put it in that way. And that's a little bit somewhat misleading, if I can say that as well, because when you're experiencing the now, you leave yourself as the identity behind. And when I say behind, I mean your energy is completely in the now, where it is timeless. So when you're experiencing yourself being in the now, you're experiencing yourself in the timeless. When you're experiencing yourself being present in time, you're fixated, or you're invested is the right word. Your energy and your attention is invested in something that's taking place in the story in a moment of time. That's the best way I can drop that in for you. I find myself being present in moment of time when I'm doing something. Okay, when I am completely in the now, it's a complete state of being. For me, it's the closest thing that I can experience myself in being in the timeless. Now, some people experience this through some very deep meditation. Some people experience this in just through their breath work, through a willingness to leave everything that is in time and rejoin themselves as the best way I can put it is just rejoin themselves as who they are being, like who they truly are. So if I could share with you some reference points for me when I'm, I could be sitting with a sunrise, and there's nothing for me to do. I'm just sitting. I'm not really thinking. I may be thinking, but then if I can just leave my thoughts where they are and just take a step back, I find myself being in the now. And it feels like it's no longer me watching the sunset. It feels like the sunset becomes, or the sunrise in this case I was talking about, it becomes a part of me. It's not I as the identity that is enjoying the sunset. It's I as the, it feels like the sunset becomes a part of yourself. It feels like you are a wave of the same ocean. So I hope this doesn't come across too woo-woo, but to me, and you take what you can from what I'm sharing and leave what you can't where it is. But of course, the simplest thing to realize here is that there is no future. Like if you can, I don't know, dance with that idea, argue with the idea if you need to. negotiate with that idea. You need to contemplate that idea. You can't just go, oh, yep, okay. There is no future. Like, really know that as something that is true, because we are so fixated on the future and we put so much effort and energy into it and all the past that we just actually miss out on the beauty of life, on what's really going on in the present moment. Which really takes me to, the work that people do in order to become present. I find this really interesting for myself as well, as I reflect back in my life and think to myself how much work I put in to be present and to stay present. And, whether it's a modality that I might practice, my mantra that I share with you guys, there's nowhere to be, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to accomplish, there's nothing to figure out. I mean, what do you think that does? It lets the identity stay where it is and allows yourself, your soul, to drop in deeper to where it already is. See, this is the thing about, practicing being present. Practicing being in the now. You don't take all the noise with you to the now. You don't take all the things that you want to accomplish to the now. You don't take all your questions. You leave them where they are. You might pose a question, and I always say, for me, sometimes I have a question. And, I may pose a question, but I never look for the answer from the place that I asked the question from. Reason being is because I didn't know the answer. The part of me that poses the question, its role is to pose a question. I realize the answer when it's time for me to realize it drops in. So anyway, that's, just another reference point of what I'm referring to here. For me, what am I doing there? Just for example, just a moment, I just lost myself for a sec because I went and talked about something else. And how do I find myself again? For me, it's the breath. It's just stop, Amir, take a breath. Like, I still don't know where I was and where I'm leading. I'm just describing my process of taking a breath. It's actually quite interesting. Anytime I do describe my process of what's actually happening for me, I notice myself actually completely disconnect. So in the interest of just sharing with you my process, I know I've now disconnected from what I want to say, but it's important for it to actually show you that, look, there is how do you find the moment? How do you find the present moment? For me, it's just stop. The first thing you got to do is stop, because again, it's like posing that question you don't know the answer to. If you're not in the moment, just stop, because if you're looking to be in the moment from a place where you're not in the moment, you can't find the moment. See, here's the thing about the moment. The moment is always there. It's always been there. It always will be there. The point here is that you're not always there. I'm not always there, because we wander off and we hear noises in our head and we go and follow that. We hear noises outside of, whether it's people's opinion of you and, the world's falling apart or this, and our attention goes outside. But the moment doesn't move. The moment stays there. And what I'm trying to, share here is that you guys, myself included, we work hard to find the moment, but we're looking for the moment from the place where the moment doesn't exist. In other words, we're in the future and we look towards the future going, oh, I need to find the present moment. You see, you can't. Once you're in the future, the only way you can find the present moment is to let go of the future. Once you're in the head noise, the only way to find the present moment is not within the head noise. is, and to try to get rid of the head noise only gives power and energy to the head noise, because your attention goes on the head noise, and therefore the head noise becomes louder. So the trick is not to get rid of the head noise. The trick is not to try to get rid of the future or past. The trick is to let them be where they are. Let the noise be where it is, and go back to where the present moment is. Like, and I know that sounds like, yeah, but if I knew where the present moment is, then I wouldn't be over there. No, this is the thing. The present moment's always there. It's your natural state. It's who you are. The present moment is the moment that is infinite. So when we're trying to be someone or accomplish something or do something, our attention goes to external, our attention goes to the future. When we're trying to avoid something to happen, maybe from something that happened in the past, our attention goes to the past. But the moment you stop, and that's the key thing here, is just stop and just take a breath. What you'll find is that the moment has always been there. It's our natural state. Here's the thing. Do you think it is more difficult for you to be yourself or pretend to be someone else? What's going to require more effort from you? What's going to be more difficult? What's going to be harder work? Being yourself or attempting to be someone else. Now, I don't care why you're trying to be someone else, whether you're looking for the approval of someone else and looking for acceptance and you don't want to be rejected. That's not my point. My question just now is, which one's more difficult? Which one's, if I can relay that question differently, which one's more easier? Which one's more effortless? To be yourself or to attempt to be someone that you're not? It's obvious, isn't it? Obviously, it's easier to be yourself. It's far more simple. It's far more effortless. You can be yourself. Nobody has to teach you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to apply a tool or a technique or a principle in order to try to be yourself, because it's who you are. And how do we be ourselves? Well, we stop trying to be someone else that we're not. Whatever the reason is, we stop trying to be someone else that we're not. Now, here's the thing about the present moment. Who you are, naturally, your state of being is the present moment. It's easier, it's far more effortless to be in the now than the work that you're doing to try to apply a principle or a method or a tool in order to bring you to the present moment. It's easier to be in the now than it is to not to be, if that makes sense. I mean, think about this. And now, I know your intellectual mind, your reasoning mind goes, no, it's not. It's so hard. I work so hard to be in the present moment. It's because you're looking for the present moment from your intellectual mind, from your identity that only relates to the past or future. Your ego, for example, only relates to the past and future. Your ego doesn't exist in the now. It cannot exist in the now, because the moment you're in the now, there's only one. Even the sunrise that you're looking at, you feel one with it. There's only one. So the ego or your identity cannot exist. And so what I find most people are doing is they're looking for the next tool or technique to quieten the noise or to find a way back to the present moment. But they're looking, the part of them that's looking to be in the present moment is the part of them that's not interested in the present moment. Because our ego or identity avoids the present moment. Because it lives by referring to the future and past. It builds its identity by looking to the future and past. This is who I was. I was born. This is where I'm going. This is what my life is about. This is who I am becoming. It's all about what you're becoming, what you're attaining, what you're going to do. Your identity, your intellectual mind, your reasoning mind, your ego, I don't know how many other ways I can put this, it is not interested in finding the present moment. It will pretend that it is interested because it's another thing it can do. Oh yes, here's another thing we can do. We can now get consumed. Before we were looking at making money, now I can be consumed in finding the now, finding the treasure, the moment. But it's not interested in it. Okay, and that's why when I say to you, it's easier to be in the now than the work and what lays in front of you to do in order to be in the now. It's far easier to be in the present moment than the work and the effort that goes in not being. This is why. And again, I know the reasoning mind's going, no, it's not. I work very hard to be in the present moment, and when I find it, I lose it, and This is why when you are in the moment, it feels effortless. It's because you're home. When you are in the present moment, it's like, yeah, I remember this feeling. It feels so familiar, doesn't it? It's like a part of you that's always been there. It's a part of you that always will be there. But the thing is, you haven't been there. Okay, and the only reason you haven't been there is because something sparkling outside of you took your attention, and it's in the future. Like a shimmering diamond, or it's in the past. Oh, what I used to have, what could have been. This is why my story is whatever it is. It's past or future related. So. My point that I'm making here is that sometimes why it's so difficult to find the present moment, sometimes why it's so difficult to be present, sometimes why it's so difficult to stay present is because you're looking to be present from the part of you that is not interested in being present. And if you were just to let that be, not fight with it, not argue with it, let that be. Just let that noise, distraction, discomfort, whatever it is, let it be there. And just stop. And just take a breath and go, and that's what I did before. So I wanted to give you a live example of what's taking place for me. Like there was a moment where I was just running and racing with this, and I started to go forward too much, and I just had to stop and just go. And that's what I do. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, is when you're looking and searching for the present moment, just stop. Just stop for a sec. Because that's the part that's not looking. Just stop. Let that be. And just take a deep breath. I remember my mother once told me that, Amir, because I was this young entrepreneur. I think I was 25 by the time I had my own, successful business, if you like. And I was the CEO of my own company and had working hard and, things. I was a go-getter. Okay, not that I'm not now, but I only go and get what I feel to go and get now. Where before I would be a go-getter because I needed to get everything, because I need to prove a point. I need to prove a point to myself. I need to prove a point to the world, and I can accomplish, and I can become, and I can achieve, and I can. It was a very endless race, known as the rat race, if you like. So anyway, I'm sitting there one day, and my mum says, Amir, just when you go to work. Because I was always the first one in the office, there at 6:30 or 7 a.m. She goes, when you sit down at your table, just take 3 deep breaths. And I said, okay, sure. Why? She goes, just do it. Just trust me. So I said, sure. So I went into the office and I sat down and I put my things down, and I just took a moment and just went, and did that for 3 times. So I went again. And again. And as I was doing it, there was a part of my mind that was going, okay, this is taking a long time. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like, this is taking a long time. Can we get on with this? Because I've got work to do. Like, that was the noise that was going on in the back of my mind. And after I finished the 3 breaths, I sat there and went, yeah, I don't feel anything. I don't know what the point of that is. And I told my mum, I didn't back then, I didn't even understand what presence was. And she said, just do me a favor and continue that no matter what. And I did. And it took probably a number of years for me to realize how powerful that breath is. In fact, now it's not 3 breaths, it's 1 breath. And I can just stop, just like now. And just take a deep breath and realize that that moment is always just 1 moment away. Just 1 moment. It's always been here. It always will be here. We are not always there. But to return to it, it's only 1 breath away. But at the beginning, when I was taking the breaths, I was trying to do something. I was trying to attain something. I was trying to use the breath to get me wherever it needed me to get to. But, as you continue doing the work, you realize that it really is 1 breath away, and the moment always is here, and it is far more effortless to stay in the moment than the moment you notice your life becomes effortful and you're finding a lot of discomfort. It's because you're not in the moment. It's why it's more difficult to not be in the moment, and that's what I'm saying, and that's why it becomes difficult. You then return to the moment and you're like, oh, there it is. It's just, that's it. And all you got to do is to stay there. Now I understand there will be like this life, life, your attention will go somewhere and you'll go into the future and you go into the past, and that's totally fine as long as you can find yourself back there. But the only way you can find yourself back there is to realize that back there is always there. It's always there. You just got to go back there. So I know that, it's somewhat complicated for that realization. And that's why it really requires you to sit and contemplate that for yourself. Like, you need to have a landing, a realization of knowing that there is no other moment but now. That can't be a theory or content. That's got to be a realization for yourself. And that's why I invite you to actually contemplate that. When have I ever experienced anything outside of this moment? You haven't. Even if you're going to your memory right now, you are experiencing your memory in this moment. Even if you go into the future in your mind, in your imagination, you're experiencing that in the moment. There's only now. Like, if that drops in, the cards will start to fall into place themselves. And what I'm sharing with you is not, oh, this sounds interesting. It's not, oh, I would like that. Like, it becomes part of your experience. It becomes a direct experience. So, I think from today's Truth Bump, the most important thing for you to take away and actually go and contemplate is go, when have I ever experienced anything outside of this now? And when that becomes a realization, then ask yourself the question, when will I ever experience anything outside of this now? When that becomes the same answer, you'll stop fighting and looking to go, but hang on, I think the future might have the answer. I can see that diamond. It's like a mirage. When you see the movies, they're in the desert, or maybe you've actually been in a desert once and you're thirsty and you see the mirage and you see, it's just there, it's just over the hill. Look, I just need my attention's got to go to the future because if I can just reach out, there's some diamonds there. But when you know that it's not real, when you know that that is the illusion, you'll stop reaching for the future and past as much as you are right now. So that is the most important thing for you. And I can't give that to you. Nobody can. You need to contemplate. Realize for yourself, when have I ever experienced anything in the past, anything outside of now? Forget about past or future. When have I ever experienced the now outside of this moment? When will I? Will I ever experience anything outside of this moment? Never. That's only now. It's the only moment that exists. When that actually becomes a direct experience, and it's not knowledge, but wisdom. Knowledge is content. Knowledge is something you've learned. Don't get me wrong. They say knowledge is power. But to me, power is wisdom. Wisdom is when you have had a direct experience of that knowledge, when you have had a direct experience for yourself from what once you knew. That becomes wisdom. Wisdom, nobody can take from you. Wisdom is yours eternally. So how is it ever possible for you to experience any other moment but now? How will it ever be possible for you to experience any other moment but now? When you realize that when that becomes a direct experience for you, your mind will stop racing as much as, it's not that it will stop racing. The moment it does race to go to the future, you go, but hang on, where are you going? There's nothing there. Subconsciously, this will happen. Where are you going? Why are you running to the past? It's nothing there. You're not going to find anything. It's a mirage. And you'll be able to find yourself back where you are, back where you've always been. The content from today has been all about the difference between the now, which is a state of being, versus the present moment in time, which is a state of being when doing something. So when you're in a flow state, it's a present moment in time. So that's been the content for you to go and digest and, put it in your pipe and smoke it if you like and do whatever you like with it. That's the content. But the challenge here for you today that I set for you is for you to go really and ponder and go, well, is there any other moment but now? And you experience that for yourself And that becomes your wisdom, that becomes your knowing, not because this guy, Amir Zoghi, told you, or because you read it in a book or someone else in a podcast told you there's no other moment but now. Because if you really knew there was no other moment by now, you wouldn't be continuously fighting with yourself to, get distracted with the future and the past. And once that becomes a realization, I think from there you've got the license to really integrate this. Some of the things that I've shared with you today, some of the things I've shared with you in the last few weeks through my coaching app, some of the things that I will share with you. You give yourself the license to actually integrate it. And the integration of this is what becomes wisdom. Otherwise, you're just filling up your head with knowledge. Knowledge is not power, it's wisdom. So I wish you plenty of moments in the moment. Hey guys, well done. You've just completed this video. How do you feel? I'm just here just to remind you that in order for me to continue to support you, it's important for you to continue to support this work. Please like this video and also press subscribe, and remember to press the bell icon as well so you get notified every single time I release a video. I'm going to be releasing so much content here that's going to support you. If you're looking for something even more, like you're looking for a community to be part of, some extra support, some extra coaching, you're looking to share your journey with other people, then go ahead and visit my website at amirzoghi.com, and there'll be some information there on how you can be more involved. Also, I read all the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. I want to release these videos for you. I want to support you. I love to see how it's landing for you. What's your experience of the videos? Do you have any questions? So remember to comment below and I'll be responding to those messages as well. Thanks guys. I'll see you on the next video.